Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I am Emma Russell. This is Emma Russell Studio, my home studio, and today I am starting a new large-scale painting in acrylic, which I usually don't work with. So I have been making a challenge for myself to take about a week for a painting. This one, spoiler alert, is definitely going to be longer than a week. It'll probably show up in next week's video, well, in 2 weeks, in that video as well. And I've really just been embracing the process, sitting back and looking at my work, reflecting, really thinking about how I want to make it, and kind of turning against the whole fast-paced art world that is sometimes assumed as an artist. With social media and reels, it's so easy to think that people are creating a new painting every day. And maybe some people do. Maybe it's a smaller scale. There could be a whole different variety of reasons. But I am really embodying what it is to be an artist. And going through that process, for me, means taking it slow and really enjoying it, really sitting with it. And it helps me feel so much more excited to create these videos. So I hope that you enjoy this video. I am starting out this piece to give you a little bit of a background. I got inspired by it from doing a little watercolor study. I painted some florals, and when I painted these florals, I thought this would look amazing large scale. Now this painting I thrifted, so I don't feel as bad for painting over it. I feel terrible painting over someone else's art, especially because it's a really cool fashion illustration. But the thing is, someone gave it to Goodwill, so that is where I justify it. And I'm first going over it with some white paint. I really love golden acrylics, and I like Liquitex too. My Liquitex tube is pretty much out. My golden acrylics is where I had a bunch of it, but I run out of white while painting this. So I will eventually get to the art store. I keep talking about it to preface this video. I keep talking about going to the art store, but I never actually go yet. So, other spoiler alert, still gotta go to the art store. But meanwhile, along this journey, you will see a little surprise of what I discover to fix that problem. So, I'm going to be painting this and starting it, and I really just hope you enjoy. Come pull out your art supplies with me. Maybe you are working on a painting. Maybe you are just hanging out, drawing in your sketchbook, and you need a little background noise, a little fun video to watch, and I hope that if so, this can be it for you.
now I'm rethinking this whole painting because she probably wants to be in here and she's going to get paint on her if I paint this. So I might actually work on a watercolor study I want to do. So this week, you know, I'm working on this, but I'm also working on another one, just because I do like to bounce back and forth between different pieces of work. And this counts, right? I said I'm gonna be trying to, you know, take a whole week to finish a painting, and now I can do that too. Right, Murphy? Right? Come. Can you say hi? She's really interested. Look at the window, aren't you? Okay, let's go paint.
Welcome to the part of the video where Murphy is featured. I usually paint with her actually on my lap, and a lot of times she falls asleep when she behaves. She is not always allowed in here. But here I am deciding to paint some color studies, and I wanted to experiment with something that I had seen. It has a name. I think it's masking, possibly. But it's basically when you put one layer of watercolor over another, forming a different color, but you wait until the first layer dries. So you can see here, Murphy is intent on watching. She wants to become a watercolor artist. She is watching my every move, and if I don't hold her like this, she will be one with the watercolor. So you can see these funky little shapes I'm painting. I got inspired by a painting I saw that had shapes. They don't look like this, but these came out of that inspiration. And so I'm really just playing around with it, but I'm realizing that I think my watercolor was a little bit too light. I should have made it a little bit more opaque, the first layer of it, because I couldn't even notice a difference. And although it doesn't really matter, it was a fun warm-up exercise, which I like to do lately in the studio. I like to warm up before I go and paint something that I'm working on, just have a little fun sketchbook moment. So I'm going to finish these up here. So this is the point where I'm realizing I need to buy another orange paint, because the quality of this one just isn't good. It's just not working. It's just not great. So we're using it, but we're gonna paint over it soon. And the thing I've realized so far with this painting is how much editing I've been doing to the painting, not the video. And the thing is, I keep making these shapes and then wanting to change them, but I also think, even though that can be a little bit annoying, that it's one of the beautiful things about art. And it's also one of the great things about acrylic, because you can't do that with watercolor. Watercolor, you basically have one shot. You can't paint over it or else it turns muddy. And I like that with acrylic, you can wait for it to dry and paint over it. And so it kept just being a process of painting the lines, waiting for it to dry, painting over it. I went through this whole thing with the centers of the flowers. Meanwhile, you should know that I did not sketch this painting out. I actually just freestyled it from the first stroke of paint. And I usually don't do that, because the pattern seemed so simple. I had about 9 flowers on the sheet. It was very small. You can see it to the right of me. The blue is a little darker. Now I changed blues, one because the kind I'm using is turquoise, but it's my favorite color ever. I got this tube from the art store, fell in love with it, almost bought a teal, returned the teal, wasn't feeling it. And the quality of this, for one, compared to the orange paint, which is just a Walmart brand paint, something with the word apple. Oh my gosh, it's not even comparable. It is, the turquoise is so smooth going down on the canvas, and you don't even feel like you need another coat. Where the orange was thin and watery, and I knew that I was going to need like 5 coats. And it was dripping. And you know, if you're painting on a wall and you have white carpet like me, you can't deal with the dripping. You just can't do it. So here I am going in with the blue, the turquoise, but I wanted to say that the reason why I changed the color was telling my husband that the blue on that test sheet on my sketch on the floor, it just reminds me of a blue and white striped beach towel. And it was giving me like beach vibes. And I wasn't here for it because it's fall. And even though this painting does not feel like fall, it's just these fun, quirky flowers that are really not typical for me. Excuse me, I'm getting over a cold. They're not typical for me, and I'm loving it because it's just really, really fun. And I don't know, if I'm not creating something where I'm having fun, I don't want to create it at all. So that is where I am. I'm going to keep going through this, and you're going to keep seeing it progress, and it's going to be great. So keep watching. I was sick. I was so sick for like 5 days. Still have a little bit of a nose thing going on, but it's so much better, and I'm just really excited to get back to creating. I was just working on my alphabet letter series. We'll see how it goes, but anyway, painting today, working on this again, and let's go do it.